Hello, and welcome to another episode of Telling Everybody Everything. It is Wednesday, the 9th of July, and it's all popping off in the Ryan Kutstra household, even though I haven't been on tour now for a week and a half. We completed the Battle Axe tour in Cork on the 28th of June. There's no better place to finish the tour. I absolutely love the Cork Opera House. I saw Dar OBrien over the weekend at another gig, the wonderful York Museum comedy gig run by Toby Jones, who has kept the North laughing for decades. He's just the very best. And he curates amazing lineups. Joel Dommett was there, Stephen Bailey. I didn't see everyone on the lineup because, of course, I just flew in late. There was someone who messaged my Instagram early in the morning, like, why are you at rugby with the kids? You're supposed to be in York. And I was like, incorrect. I'm supposed to be in York this evening. I'll be there. There are many days within my day. So when I got there, I got to see Dar OBrien, like whom I have always just adored and respected. And it was such a shame when press came out a few years ago saying that I'd like boycotted Mock the Week. I feel like my decision to step back from those offers was weaponized in a way that I wish it never was. Because all I was saying is the casting department and producers were putting one woman on at a time, and I didn't want to always be the woman taking up that chair. I was very conscious that if I was in the chair, then another woman in my industry, like one of my peers, was being kept out of that chair. I didn't want to gatekeep that job, even though I loved it. And, that had nothing to do with how much respect I had for Mock the Week. And I've certainly had nothing to do with the amount of respect I have for Dar OBrien. Like, I don't think there's anyone better on the planet in terms of like a well-rounded person, father, husband, smart person, comedian, friend. Like he's wholly good. So anyway, I saw him. That was a blast. And I said, oh, you finished the tour in Cork. Where was that? I said, the Opera House. He said, the Opera House. Like, what a shit place to finish the tour. As in, like, we all know it's the best place in the world to finish the tour. But we've still been quite busy. It's all, the usual stuff. Bobby was victimized by a fridge scam in the heat wave. Do you remember those few days? It was my birthday, actually, June 30th. July 1st, those hot, hot days where I was so excited that we were not invited to Wimbledon because I was just, it's a privilege to go to Wimbledon, but we got to go the following day that it had all cooled off and it had rained the night before, and we just had the best time. We were hosted by Vodafone, #Nations Network, and they looked after us so well, and we got to sit on center court and see this British guy called Ollie plays so well. And it was a little bit of hooliganism in the stands, like some football style chants that you don't usually expect at the tennis. And Wimbledon is just such an experience. And I know how difficult it is to get tickets. There are people who've been playing the lottery for years. But when we leave, we always return our tickets. And that's part of the fun, I hear, from the British public, the queuing system, and like you might get some surprise center court tickets. And we can never stay till the end, of course, because we got to do bedtime. But those hot, hot days, our fridge just stopped working. Our freezer stopped working right before we hosted Fred's birthday party. And that was terrible because I was trying to prepare a lot of the sweets and the snacks myself, and I did need to freeze these truffles that I'd made that I was trying to mold into like Spider-Man, Ghost Spider, and Spin heads. It was essential that I freeze them and take them out and work with them and freeze them and, to make the truffles set and the fondant work. And all of a sudden the fridge just started like pissing water and thawing rather. And Bobby was like, oh my God. So we got a guy around, and like Bobby does have a track record for just not employing the most sound of engineers. Like he did have a few run-ins with the community that I had to explain to him were Irish entrepreneurs. And look, I know a lot of Irish entrepreneurs out there, and I know that culture is stigmatized and it's not fair, but equally A lot of the business that you get is cash in hand and it's not regulated. And there have been people around who've like taken loads of photos of the house and who have demonstrated one power washer and then swapped it out for a less effective power washer. You know what I mean? Like Bobby has been victimized before. And he's already on tenterhooks because of what's going on with the garden next door and the trees, like what we are now calling deforestation. I don't know. It's nesting season. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, Bobby's like totally traumatized by that. Then the freezer guy comes in that he found somewhere off the internet. I do not know where. And he took 5 minutes, looked in the fridge, and he seems like a really nice guy. And he goes, oh, yeah, there's like a gas leak. And we were like, gas leak? Because that sounds very serious. And he said, no, you can't smell it. It's not dangerous. It's not like a gas leak leaking into the house. It's just there's a connector here where gas goes and like it is no longer connecting. And if I replaced it, you have a smart freezer. The freezer would know that it wasn't like totally, safe and it would not work. Like nothing I could do is going to make this freezer cold again. You have to get a new freezer. And we were like, oh my God, how long is that going to take? Because in Canada and presumably in America, just because we have so much land mass and like space for factories, if you need an appliance, you can get it the same day. If you need a couch, a sofa, like any furniture, you get it the same day. In this country, since I arrived, and thank you for hosting me 18 years ago, it's weeks and weeks for anything. Like that's not true. I got my sofa from House of Interiors very quickly, and I really recommend them. But in the past, we have all been in the position where you try to order furniture or a sofa or something, and they're like, our lead time is 26 weeks. You're like, what? Our appliances are bespoke. They're built in to the whole structure of our kitchen. And Bobby called the manufacturers, and basically it was going to be a really, really, really long time to get a new freezer. And Bobby said to this guy, oh my gosh, are you sure there's no way I can get this fixed? I have to order a new freezer. And he said, yes. And in the heat, I have been all around London today. I have told 15 families that they have to get new freezers. Like these freezers are just going bust. And yours is from 2018. It's pretty old. You just have to get a new freezer. You're the 15th family that I've broken this news to. And Bobby's like, well, thank you so much. And he hands him 50 pounds cash. And the guy was on his way. And he was here for all of 5 minutes. And so we mobilized quite quickly. Bobby got a like horizontal freezer, you know what I mean? Like an extra freezer, and put it in the garage, which is what a lot of families have, especially with children. Like we should have had a big freezer in the garage from the start to store, things, ice lollies, things for the kids. So we had that now. And then he thought, well, hang on, before I pull the trigger and order this freezer, I'm going to get a second opinion. So we had another engineer come who looked at the freezer, found the fault, and fixed it within minutes. And now the freezer works again. And Bobby and I were thinking, oh my God, this first freezer guy is a genius. He probably has 0 qualifications. He saw a gap in the market. He said, I'm going to advertise myself as like a freezer guy. And then I'm going to go around and spend 5 minutes in as many homes as I can and tell everyone they have to get a new freezer. And they'll be so sad. And then I'll take 50 pounds from each of them and be on my way. So he made like 750 pounds that day from telling 15 families that their freezer's broken. And like, I can't have any animosity towards him for that. I have nothing but respect. Like, what a lad. And then he probably shut down like the online place before people could mobilize themselves to get a second opinion and figure out that either he's really stupid or he's really smart. But either way, I absolutely love this guy. And you're not really mad at him when you figure out the scam because you're so happy that you don't need to get a new fridge. So if someone has come by recently in the heat wave and told you that your freezer's broken and you are in the process of waiting 26 weeks for a new bespoke freezer, maybe get a second opinion. If something doesn't feel right to you, maybe get a second opinion. And Bobby, please stop getting random tradesmen off wherever the hell he's getting them and inviting them into our family home. I would really appreciate it if you would stop doing that. Elsewhere in the Ryan Kutzter household, we have learned that we need to get rid of the chair in our bedroom. Bobby knew about this before I did, and I have no idea how. But you know when you go into hotels and there is usually, a bed and probably a telly, if you're lucky, a fully stocked minibar and shampoos and conditioners that are not locked down to the wall, because that's really hostile to me. When I see that, I don't feel safe in a hotel anymore. I think you are calling me a thief, and now I don't feel welcome here, and I don't like your hotel. Hopefully you have a very upscale coffee maker, but you will usually have a chair, like a love seat or some type of fancy Chesterfield in the room. And I have come to learn that is called a cuck chair. And that is for husbands, presumably, to watch while someone else penetrates their wife. That is a cuck chair. And in our bedroom, we also have a cuck chair. Because I didn't realize, I thought it was for chucking laundry on when you're not sure if it should go back in the wardrobe or into the laundry basket. I thought it was like a purgatory laundry chair. No. And I have one in every room. And I've got one in the guest room. If any cucks want to sit in there and watch their wife be penetrated by someone else. What? Who started? I'm so tired of trends, ruining everything I once loved. The cuck chair. And apparently now it's sardine summer, where we're supposed to be wearing outfits with sardines all over them. They'll be like, oh, butter yellow was the color of the summer, but now it's actually bright lemon yellow is the color of the summer. These are the nails of the summer. The old money bob is the hair of the summer. And then they'll change it the following week, after I already went to my friend Roberto Alexander London and got extensions in my bob to make it more voluminous. Everyone's changing their minds. And we can't allow this cavalier switching up of trends to extend itself to our furniture. Because what am I supposed to put in the place of the cuck chair now? I got to get rid of it. I don't want Bobby getting any ideas. P Diddy has basically been exonerated from most serious charges against him. I think this might be cuck summer. People are going to take inspo and they're going to know, hey, I can get away with a light bit of trafficking. Got to get rid of the chair. And I have been thinking about getting a nursery glider because I am being influenced this Oilo chair. And I don't know if any other expectant mothers are seeing this. Why would a brand be called Oilo? It's just not an attractive name. Maybe it's a family name. I don't want to offend anyone, but it's Oilo. It's like a boucle selection of very Molly May looking aesthetic nursery gliders. And they're 1,700 pounds. And I looked at some reviews online, and ultimately you have to decide what's right for you, but I decided not to get one. But I think what I'm going to do is put a big fuck off massage chair where the cuck chair used to be. Why are we getting nursery gliders? Why are we stopping there? And then I can breastfeed and rock my baby. No. If you're going to be laying there for an extended period of time, especially if you're lucky enough to have a nap, get one of those spaceship looking Elon Musk full body massage chairs. Because if the Oilio one is 1,700 pounds, then these massage chairs are also 1,700 pounds. And you can get cheaper ones secondhand, and you can get older models that are also brand new but less expensive. And is there a safety reason why I can't have a fully reclining, rocking massage chair while I am breastfeeding? I don't think so. I looked like shit at Mel B's wedding. Everybody knows it. I've changed locations now since the ad break. I'm now in the dressing room of the Royal Albert Hall. Not bragging. I have come to a gig, which has been a delight thus far. And now we're on a dinner break. And I just really thought a lot in advance about the wedding. I love Melanie and Rory. I have had the privilege of meeting them several times. They are funny. They are down to earth. They are philanthropical. Mel is an MBE, M to the B to the E, Mel B, because of her tireless work against domestic abuse and like loads of women's charities. And a lot of the people at her wedding, it was very refreshing actually to go to a celebrity wedding, and not just any celebrity. Like Mel B is an icon level status, world-changing artist. Without the Spice Girls, there would be no massive girl bands. Like you wouldn't have probably most of the female artists without that step, that change in pop. And everyone there was like a close personal friend or family member or northern, someone she really knew. It wasn't like when James Corden had Harry Styles at his wedding. And maybe that's a bad example because I think they are actually friends. But do you know what I mean? It had a real grassroots, like true friendship and family vibe. It was a lovely, lovely wedding. And I was so touched to be invited because, like, first of all, I'm like inspired by Mel, but I'm also awestruck because, of course, the Spice Girls were as important to me as they were for any young gay man in the 90s. And I just thought, oh my gosh, to be included in something like that and to celebrate the joy that Melanie so richly deserves. Like, wow. I knew I was pregnant. I've known this for a while, obviously. And so I was thinking about a dress. And I conceptualized, okay, I don't know how big I will be. I'm going to get this flowy Aja dress that looks very nice on thin, tanned, tall women. Thin, tanned, tall women who pull their hair up because it's quite a flowy dress. It almost looks like bed linen. It's very dreamy. And I just find it so difficult to get ready with the children in the morning. And I put my hair down, which was absolutely the wrong way to do it. But Fiona, my wonderful hair and makeup artist, shaved the back of my neck because I have such a low hairline, and everyone in my family has rallied against this choice. They're like, grow it out. And even when my friend Roberto did my extensions, he was like, what is this neckline? And it's my personal nod to the lesbian community, like, hey girls, what I need next is a neck tattoo. I know that. But it just doesn't work. I can't put my hair up right now because I've chosen to grow this like neck out. And it ruined the look. And then it said in the invitation that it was hats and fascinators for ladies, which is a very northern thing. In Canada, culturally, obviously, we don't wear fascinators to weddings. I did order a beautiful one from a lovely woman on Etsy who's so talented, but because I panicked last minute, it wasn't the right blue to go with the dress. I ended up chopping an orchid from my kitchen and sticking that in my head, and the whole look, I did not expect paparazzi to be there. I don't know why I didn't expect that, but I didn't. It was giving ugly stepsister. Like, I truly shit the bed on the look. And I feel like, oh, great, Catherine. So you've gone to like your hero's wedding and ruined the aesthetic by being like the ugliest girl in the world. I mean, God forbid there's like a group photo that Mel would like to hang in her home. And then she goes, what the fuck is this? Why is Katherine Ryan giving stepsister in this photo? And Bobby didn't like his look either. I don't know where we went wrong because we were so lucky to be invited to Wimbledon days before. And I think we looked great. We really nailed that look. We like to get cute photos together just like anybody does. And then we absolutely like took it back to, I don't think we've ever looked worse on like the most important day of someone's life. Mel B is there looking like a fucking princess. And I'm like, why isn't the prince choosing me, mother? It's because you are a troll, Catherine. What were you thinking with that outfit? And I just don't have the thinnest arms for it. I'm too pale for it. It was awful. No offense to the designer, but you will see this dress in a charity shop soon. And speaking of weddings, I have been absolutely dying to speak about the big Amazon wedding, the Lauren Sanchez wedding to Jeff Bezos, obviously. She is, of course, his second wife. And I think, this is what I love about it. You see it so often. You really do. Of a man, especially a successful, very rich tech billionaire. He has his starter wife who's like a very good mother and helps him launch the business. And, luckily she walked away with billions herself, which she's given a lot of it away. She's a very charitable person, seemingly. And the last thing I want to do is talk myself out of any Amazon deals or sponsorships. And I don't mean to throw any shade Lauren Sanchez's way. I think she should be writing books on side chicking. I think we can learn a lot from her. She has been engaged to 4 extremely wealthy men, and I think that there is a formula for what she's doing. I don't think there's any shame in dating only rich men. I think it's very smart to know what you want and set your standards high and go for it. And what I have observed is that since they started dating, Lauren Sanchez has offered Jeff Bezos a key into this world that money can't buy. So presumably, I don't know Jeff Bezos. I don't know Elon Musk. I don't know any of these super wacky, smart tech guys, entrepreneurs. I don't pretend to know them, but I imagine that their talents lie in one area, and outside of that area, they're probably nerds. They're probably really boring. And we have watched Elon Musk go to the ends of the earth, take actual ketamine to try to be interesting and to try to buy comedy. Elon Musk would love to be a comedian. He would love it. And he wants to be around comedians. He wishes he was funny, but you can't be everything. Similarly, I think Jeff Bezos is someone who can purchase absolutely anything in the world, and that gets boring. It's I can go here, I can have that, I can it's limitless. But what Lauren Sanchez does, and what women like her do, who snare these nerdy billionaires, is they open up a world of fun and excitement and intrigue and celebrity. And all of a sudden the Kardashians are at his wedding. And all of a sudden he's a celebrity and he's dressing differently and he has access to a world to which she holds the key. And money can't buy that. You need a feisty, sexy little lady to bring you in. As New York City housewife Countess Luann Lesseps once sang, money can't buy you class. And after viewing the wedding invitation of Jeff Bezos and his bride-to-be Lauren Sanchez, a lot of people were saying, true. The billionaire Amazon founder and his buxom aspiring astronaut bride are getting dragged all over the internet now for a leaked copy of their wedding invite that looks like it was, quote, designed by a 15-year-old using Canva. And not even the premium version of the app. A plain white background embellished with what honestly looks like clip art illustrations of birds, feathers, shooting stars. Selectively colored butterflies, dragonflies, gondolas, a canal bridge, and more feathers asymmetrically frames some basic cursive typeface. Even the most basic graphic designers are experiencing toxic shock at its amateurness, particularly for someone of Bezos' station. The invitation is weird. Not that we were expecting something like Rose Byrne's character sent out in the movie Bridesmaids with a living butterfly soaring forth after opening a leather-bound box, but he couldn't have hired a legit monk to do some bespoke calligraphy or something? The official date of the wedding had been kept under wraps. However, the days-long, kicked off in the gondola and canal capital of the world, Venice. It concluded with Sanchez walking down the aisle and into the moneyed arms of Bezos and her daughter Ella from her second marriage served as her maid of honor. That was cute. I liked that bit. Sanchez and Bezos rang their Italian wedding bells over several days, welcoming a number of their celebrity friends for the lavish festivities in the floating city. Oprah was there, Gayle King, Orlando Bloom, who was conspicuously solo without his wife and Sanchez's fellow space girl, Katy Perry. And I did think that was weird because Katy Perry and Lauren Sanchez are like besties, apparently. So why, now that they've split, is the husband there? Like maybe Orlando was like, well, I'm still going. And Katy was like, you're not going. Like, that's my friend. And now we're split up. So you're not going. He was like, I'm still going. And then she was like, fine, I'm not coming. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it's an amicable split and I'm totally wrong. And Katy was like, I don't know, training for her next space travel or getting ready for tour. But you feel like you're going to go to that wedding if you're Katy Perry. Kim Kardashian was there, Khloe, Kris, Kylie, Karlie Kloss was there, Leonardo DiCaprio, Usher was there, Tom Brady was there, Queen Rania of Jordan, Bill Gates, of course, and his girlfriend, Paula Hurd, François-Henri Pinault was there, Diane von Furstenberg, also married to a billionaire, a gay one allegedly at that, which is genius, Domenico Dolce, and Tommy Hilfiger. Lauren Sanchez stole Kim's wedding country, but Kim didn't mind. As for what you get the couple, who literally have everything a billion times over, it said on the invitation, we have only one request. Please, no gifts. Instead, Jeff and Lauren list 3 Venetian charities that they'll donate to on behalf of their guests. This magical place has gifted us unforgettable memories. Our hope is that through these efforts, and by you joining us, Venice will continue to inspire wonder for generations to come. The nuptials had sparked protests among some Venetian residents and environmental organizations like Greenpeace, who spoke out about the risks of over-tourism and disruption. In light of this, some have speculated that the release of the note, which highlights the couple's plans to donate to Venetian charities, may have been an attempt to lessen this backlash. It remains to be seen how contributions to Venetian charities aimed at preserving Venice to, quote, inspire wonder for generations to come is going to work. What are you going to do? Put some money towards unmelting the ice caps, causing the rising seawaters that are submersing the Italian port city, I guess? A lot of people were pissed off because they're like recycling bottle caps. And there were so many private jets flying into this thing. The wedding reportedly cost like $60 million. But you know, ladies, I think you take tiny lessons from what Lauren Sanchez has been able to achieve. She offers these guys excitement. I saw a TikTok the other day that said, going to work every day is hard, but being married to an ugly billionaire is also hard. So you choose your hard. I don't think Jeff Bezos is necessarily ugly at all. I'm just saying, like, obviously, if you marry for exclusively money, then you earn every cent. But there's nothing wrong with, like, marrying a guy that you fancy who also has a ton of money and recognizing your own value in that relationship and using it as collateral. I mean, people are criticizing like this carpet at the wedding. They're criticizing her dress. They're saying Anna Wintour must have stepped down from Vogue because she would never have allowed Lauren Sanchez in the wedding dress to be on the cover, like over her dead body. But like, I don't care about any of that. I think she looked pretty. I have no problem with Lauren Sanchez. I fucking admire her. And she was like, Jeff, you want an exciting life? You're going to go Lauren Sanchez. And then Oprah's going to turn up at your wedding. DiCaprio's going to be there. You're the cool guy now. You're the rich guy and the cool guy. Well, it is nearly time for me to return to my hosting duties for the evening. But before I go, Diddy walks. Or does he? Avid listeners of Telling Everybody Everything will have duly noted that we have been anxiously awaiting the answer to the question, did he do it? And we finally got our answer. P, he did. After a blockbuster 9-week trial, jurors found Diddy guilty on 2 counts of transportation for prostitution, which carry a maximum sentence of 20 years, but not guilty of the far more serious counts of racketeering and sex trafficking, which would have seen him potentially sent away for the rest of his hashtag bad boy life. Prosecutors called 34 witnesses to the stand over more than 6 weeks, including 3 women who accused him of abuse. You and Me songstress and long-suffering ex, Cassandra Cassie Ventura, an ex known simply as Jane, who entered into a romantic relationship with Diddy in 2021 and divulged that the pair referred to each other as the pet names Bert and Ernie, and a former assistant named Mia, who claims that Diddy attacked her multiple times. The trial entered a new derivative into the popular lexicon, freak-off, aka a, quote, wild king's party, basically drug-fueled orgies that could last for days with both unwilling and willing partners at the center. Diddy allegedly recorded many of these encounters, giving him blackmail material to hold over his victims' heads, prosecutors said at the trial. The prosecution alleged that Diddy's abuse was part of a sprawling criminal enterprise that relied on other violent acts, such as alleged kidnapping, arson, and included other crimes such as drug distribution and witness tampering made possible by his devoted employees and inner circle. But in the end, jurors decided Diddy had committed prostitution-related crimes, but not offenses that could be considered a criminal enterprise or coercive sex conspiracy. And I'm sorry, I have to agree. I think that, like many of you, I expected far more from the prosecution. I expected more evidence. I expected more witnesses. Diddy's lawyer, remember months back, stepped down after defending Osama bin Laden. So, what did they have? What happened behind closed doors that they chose not to show or were paid not to show or just ended up not having? It feels really crazy that the FBI, who would watch you for a year before bringing a case against you, it's not like a regular lawsuit. Why would they even bring this case forward if they weren't stacked with evidence to back it up and win? Cheers erupted as Diddy walked out. "I'll be home soon," he told his family. "I love you," he told another relative. As the defense lawyers filed out, some of the audience shouted, "Dream team, dream team," potentially a reference to the moniker of O.J. Simpson's defense team in that 1990s trial. Birds of a fucking feather. That tracks. Outside the courtroom, a perverse cadre of Diddy supporters, seemingly on leave from halfway houses, poured baby oil on themselves in celebration of the rap with an E mogul, evading the worst charges. But the celebration was short-lived as Diddy was denied bail and will reportedly remain behind bars until his sentencing date, which the judge floated as sometime in early October. Celebrity reactions came in swift and salty. Former Diddy protege and ex-Danity caner Aubrey O'Day opened up about the verdict the day after it came out on her podcast covering the Diddy trial with a CNN journalist. "I watched Cassie's Intercontinental video 17 times today," she said, referring to the vivid and brutal hotel lobby security footage of Diddy physically assaulting Cassie. "This makes me physically ill. Cassie probably feels so horrible. Ugh, I'm gonna vomit." Fresh from the thick of her career's second act, the artist formerly known as Kesha took to the platform formerly known as Twitter to voice her support for Ventura. "Cassie, I believe you. I love you. Your strength is a beacon for every survivor." This was of course, personal for Kesha, as the trash pop star sued her ex-collaborator Dr. Luke over an alleged 2005 sexual assault in 2014. She also changed the lyric in her song TikTok from "wake up in the morning feeling like P Diddy" to "wake up in the morning like fuck P Diddy" while performing at Coachella in 2024. An elegant sidebar to this story is that she made a post on socials after her performance. "I will re-record it when I have legal rights to." Diddy arch nemesis 50 Cent wrote on Instagram, "Diddy beat the feds. That boy a bad man. Clap, clap, clap emoji. Beat the Rico. He the gay John Gotti." 50 Cent is not a perfect person. He has had transgressions against women that I don't love. He leaked revenge porn when he was having some type of spat with Rick Ross. And then the woman sued him for that. And then he declared bankruptcy so he didn't have to pay her after he was ordered to do so. Like, nobody's perfect, but P Diddy, just because he was not found guilty of conspiracy and racketeering and all these other charges doesn't mean that he did not assault Cassie. Like, I don't know how the wrong charges got brought where they charged him with bigger things that they couldn't prove, but like, he's certainly guilty of some things. And 50 Cent, for better or worse, like really makes me laugh. The gay John Gotti. Referring, of course, to the mafioso who became known as Teflon Don for earning acquittals in 3 separate trials in the 1980s. And lastly, weeks before her Edinburgh debut, Rosie O'Donnell posted about the verdict on her Instagram. I guess a jury just never wants to believe that a woman stays because of power and coercion. Wow. They just think women stay because what? Money? Fame? They love the abuse? What a fucking joke. This decision got me angry. Well, yes, we live in a society where you can have video evidence of an assault, photographic evidence of an assault. Everyone agrees that this assault definitely happened, and it's minimized. And then look at the Epstein files now just being closed, case closed. Someone asked Trump about it today, and he's like, are we still talking about this guy? It's like, yeah, the harsh truth is nobody really cares that much still in 2025 when women are abused, sexually assaulted, trafficked, exploited. Oh, those Epstein girls, they must have wanted to be there. Oh, like, if you really didn't want to go to the private island and have dinners and have sex with rich men and take drugs, like, you wouldn't have gone, oh, Cassie, she really liked what Diddy did for her career. Like, yeah, the attitude toward us is hostile, even more for Black women. And they're undermined and victimized all the time in plain sight. Like, yeah. And then I post something that's negative about men, and the men flip out and have a fucking tantrum. I'm like, oh, okay. We still are so far away from equality. But Diddy is a bad person and did some crimes, yes, but unfortunately, it just seems like they did not bring enough of a case to prove those specific crimes of which he was accused. And I don't know why. I don't know what happened behind the scenes of all of that. But just remember, just because someone was found not guilty does not make them innocent. That's all I have to say about that. We will, of course, be going through the emails. Speaking of vulnerable women, Joanne texted me to say that a woman in Kelowna, where she lives, was murdered today in public with a hammer because her ex, who was the alleged perpetrator, was given bail for $500. And this just makes me worry so much more about the young woman I met in my show and I spoke about last week, whose stalker is being released back into her community in August. I'm going to go through all of your many emails on that subject and do an advice series, like an advice episode of everything everyone was able to tell me that this woman should do, and really focus on that because it is nearly effing August. And if they won't prioritize our safety, then we must look after each other. So if you listened to last week's episode and you have any advice for the young woman whose stalker has ignored previous warnings to stay away from her and is being re-released into her community in August, listen to the last episode. Please write me an email telling everybody everything at gmail.com. I have a lot of emails on the subject already, and thank you for sending those. Thank you for listening. I love you so much. Please look after each other. I'll see you soon.